Good morning, Turtle Club. How is it going? It has been far too long since we've had a stream on a Monday. Oh my goodness. Life has just been life, right? It gets in the way sometimes. And there's a lot, right? There's a lot going on. But we usually stream at 7 a.m. So good news. We got off work early. We had all of our stuff set up. And due to the way everything happened to go, we're able to go really early. I'm raring to go. I'm raring to play. So that's the great news. The good news is, all right, there's two pieces of bad news. Number one, I lost my Game Boy. While I was working on getting the green screen repaired and moving furniture on and all that stuff, I've lost my Game Boy. It's here. On the good side, it's here somewhere in ye old mess of office stuff. But it's going to be a minute before I can find it, because I'm still going through the oodles of things that I moved aside trying to rearrange furniture, when I finally was able just to find a secondary green screen that was portable and get it to work. The second piece of bad news is it is thundering and lightning pretty bad where I'm at. I was going to start streaming at 7:30, but I wanted to get something out here because, oh my gosh, it's been so long and I'm just raring to go. And yeah, thankfully I had not transferred my game pack to the Game Boy to start grinding in between stream sessions when it was misplaced. Otherwise, we wouldn't be able to stream Pokemon even. So that's the good news. The bad news, is that we are a little bit behind on what we wanted to be. We're still grinding away. We saw this wonderful Absol that we count and caught. Our goal still is roughly level 50 on these Pokemon, so we can go to the Elite Four in some comfort and not have the why am I getting completely floor wiped again. So it's going to be just kind of a chill, laid back, grinding, knocking out ghosty Pokemon as we come across them, fighting trainers, and going from there. That's really about all we can do while we're here. I never noticed that Gravestone's a different color. We may have to go and investigate that. We may have to go back up and investigate. But yeah, so that's the good news, bad news. There are a few things project-wise in the house that Digger and I are still working on. We have managed to get a lot of what we're working on kind of scheduled around a bit better to help work on some stuff. Things won't be hopefully as last minute as they have been. And that's always been something that we knew would happen, right? New homeowners, new stuff. Clearly we are learning a lot as we go. Hey, Duskull. I remember Duskull. One of my first shinies was actually a Dusclops, which is kind of cool. It's super effective, but it didn't take out the tankier Duskull. And yeah, not very effective against Dark. You gotta fight to hurt Dark, and not many things are gonna fight and hurt Dark. I think Fairy type in the new generations is super effective against Dark too. But yeah, so hey. Is this a trainer sandwich? This is a trainer sandwich. Okay. Alright. Wow, it is really coming down now. Wow, it hasn't rained this hard here in a while. And of course it makes perfect sense. So one of the things I had to do was lawn care this weekend. And I was super working on getting Sableye and Wobbuffet. Alright, we're going to do this to the Sableye, and then we're going to sing on the Wobbuffet. Wobbuffet's one of those that can completely wreck your day if you're not careful. And Wobbuffet's actually one of the first Pokemon in Generation 2 that I kind of fell in love with. So Wobbuffet, for those that aren't fully aware, is a tanky Pokemon for starters. Has a whole, just huge tracts of hit points. I need to swap this around. I need to bite. Actually, I need to take this opportunity to swords dance. And then I can't peck that. Oh yeah, I can, because it's not normal, it's flying. Okay. And we're going to get hit by it anyway, so what does it matter? So he's huge, he's tanky. He's got a lot of hit points. His defense stat's actually pretty good too. The things that Wobbuffet can do, though, while it's tanky, is one, Destiny Bond. Basically, we're bonded. It's not Perish Song, it's Destiny Bond. So Destiny Bond basically says, we take out Wobbuffet, we kind of take ourselves out. Wow. Alright. And we're going to get detected anyways, so it's fine. This is probably going to hurt a lot. So we got to flinch out of Wobbuffet. That's good. We also know that we're not going to be able to take out Wobbuffet in one more bite, so that's good too. So the thing about Destiny Bond is it takes you totally out with it. The other thing about Wobbuffet, though, is it has two other moves. One's called Mirror, and one's called Counter. And they both do the exact same thing based upon the attack. It takes the damage that Wobbuffet took, Mirror Coat, and reflects it back. Now, Mirror Coat, funnily enough, is a psychic type move, and it will not work on a dark type Pokemon. We're going to take this opportunity to bite over there, and we're going to sing on the Wobbuffet. Miss, interesting. But the counter is a physical move, and it's a fighting attack, and it would really hurt if we were to get hit by it. So our goal is to not be hit by it, especially with us being Absol. If it were to use counter, it would definitely knock us around. Hey, morning, Sally! Thanks for popping in. We got an early start on streams today because we got out of work early. And then it started to just abysmally pour down rain. And so we are hoping to not get knocked off the internet while we're streaming. But we don't know what's going to happen. Alright. So our Shroomish did level up, so we're going to have to actually stop the evolution there. Oh no, Swablu is evolving. Oh. Finally. So, Swablu is trying to run Dragon Breath. Yes, we want to make some room for Dragon Breath. It's a power 6100 Dragon type move. Dragon will take on a couple of really good things, including other dragons. So we are going to remove, in this case, Takedown. Great to make it to stream. How am I? I am doing good. I thank you for asking. It has been so many Mondays since we've been able to actually stream, so we're super stoked about that. Super stoked. That's a little bit. That's funny. But yeah, it's been there's been some really cool things that Digrat and I have managed to accomplish as of late. Oh, it's just the lighting on it. It's just white like that. Okay. One was getting a more defined schedule of when we're going to do things for the house and when certain chores are going to be done. So looking forward to that to help life be a little bit easier. Anything that's like an emergency kind of thing still, of course, is going to get in the way when it gets in the way, but things should be a lot more better in that regard. Alright, so I guess we take this hole. So it wouldn't have been that hole. Shells a bit. So let's go back all the way up. While we're just grinding. Oh man, such a bright flash of lightning. I'm sure if one of these bright flashes of lightning hits us just right on camera, it's going to completely wash out the screen here. If not, take out the internet. Oh my gosh. It's another Shuppet! Oh, hey Colin! How's it going, man? Glad to see you in here, buddy. Got Colin, got Sally, got some Lurk Squad members in here too. Oh, saw a really cool movie this weekend. Digger and I actually caught the Chip and Dale movie when it came out. And you know, I didn't know entirely what all to expect going into the movie. But it actually was really decent. I had like some really... There's like a lot of throwbacks to the 80s, right? I mean, I'm born in 80, so that kind of... I was an 80s kid, right? So that kind of is really awesome in and of itself. How am I? I'm doing good. I'm doing really good. The cool thing about the Chip and Dale movie was that it had so many things that it connected back to that it was really interesting to see how it all tied in. And at one point, it really felt like this... not exactly a sequel, but like in-universe movie that works alongside Who Framed Roger Rabbit. There were enough things in the movie that kind of played into Who Framed Roger Rabbit that completely made me go, oh my gosh, that's how crazy is that? Oh, speaking of Lurk Squad, Lurker Supreme right there, Shadow! How's it going, man? Now hold up. Wait. I thought I was going to super secret place, but unfortunately it seems like I wasn't. Okay. This will be the last bite we can do. So it's perfectly fine. So now we need to like leave and go to a Pokemon Center. And then come back and then leave and come to a Pokemon Center. Oh my gosh. Okay. So we're going to take our newly minted Altaria. And, you know, I love the fact that we got an Altaria. I'm not going to say anything bad about that. But I wonder if I should have kept it leveling up. How bad did I hurt myself? So at 48, Perish Song, Refresh, Mirror Move, Takedown. Alright, so these are all moves that we do not care about. And as an Altaria, we get that level 59 Sky Attack. So, and we don't get that as an actual Swablu in this version. So everything's great there. No problems there. We did good. We did good. Alright. Now we just need to take this newly minted Altaria with its improved stats and its dragon attack. And we gotta go heal it up at Lily Cove and come back. Alright. And just a reminder for all of you that are not sure who you are seeing or what you're seeing, I am Mag Synchro. I'm with CTG Studios. This is our Convertible Turtle gaming channel. We actually play family-friendly titles and have a family-friendly atmosphere on this particular channel. And this particular series is Pocket Monster Mondays. We are so good to be back in the saddle for Monday streams. Oh my gosh, just super, super excited. Equally excited to get back to streaming on Wednesdays and Fridays. Oh my gosh, all of the weights, all of the sads going completely away. All right. But on this series, we are taking a team to the Elite Four. After we beat the Elite Four with that team, we're going to go and make our way back to Sword and Shield. But we're going to do so by taking every single one of these Pokemon on our team, and we're going to transfer them to Heart Gold. And then from Heart Gold, they're going to be transferred to, I think it's Pokemon Black, is the copy that I have, while Digright's got a copy of White. And then we're going to take them from Black White, and we're going to move them over to Sun and Moon. And then from Sun and Moon, they're going to make their way over to X and Y. From X and Y, they're going to make their way over to Sword and Shield. And then from Sword and Shield, they're going to make their way over to Pokemon Home. And in Pokemon Home, they're going to go to 6 lucky winners. People who watch the channel during this series, people who have commented on the videos, people who have played along the whole time, and they're going to be all entered. And first person will get the first choice, second person will get the second choice, and so on and so forth until our actual final Pokemon is given out. And that's the 6 that are going to be there. There is a 7th bonus that is going to be given out as well, but I will wait for that final video so you guys can all see who that might be. Oh, we got roared out. That's fine. That is perfectly fine. Oh, is this a Safari Zone? Oh, Safari Zone. Oh my gosh. If only we could actually get experience in the Safari Zone, we would so be all over that. And again, I do apologize for the background noise, guys. Still haven't got the heating and air conditioning thing totally situated here. Level 35. Oh my god. All that transferring sounds complicated. You know, it seems complicated, but it's really not. Just doing 6 Pokemon is actually fairly easy. So when you go from Ruby, Emerald, and Sapphire to the next generation, what you wind up with is a little mini game where you actually just say, hey, transfer these Pokemon, and you actually walk around like a Safari Zone and you capture the Pokemon there, and you get special friendship balls, and it's actually pretty easy to do. I've actually moved a couple of Pokemon all the way over using this method. Now Shroomish we're waiting to evolve, because Shroomish we want to actually get Spore. So those that aren't familiar with our pal Shroomish, Shroomish actually gets an amazing move in this game called Spore. And of course he gets that in other versions of Pokemon as well. But in this particular game, he gets it at level, I want to say 54. Where are you at in the Pokédex, Shroomish? I know you're here. Yeah, it looks like it's right there. We go. So Shroomish, he learned Spore at 54, yeah. And so when he learns Spore, it's a guaranteed 100% put something to sleep. And he also becomes a Breloom at a much earlier level, but he won't learn Spore as a Breloom. And so what you can do is have Shroomish learn Breloom's move for him, and then level him up and let him evolve. So that's one of the reasons why we're doing it that way. But yeah, so from Ruby, Sapphire, Emerald to Gold, it's really easy. From Gold to Black, White, it becomes a little bit more difficult. And by that, I mean a lot more difficult. There's actually a mini game involving an action meter with what looks like a cannon, and you have Pokemon that are jumping through bushes, and you have to shoot at them with the Pokeball launcher. And that one takes a little bit longer to accomplish, unfortunately. A lot more longer to accomplish. Thankfully, I'm just doing this with a party of 6 plus a bonus Pokemon, and so that I'm fully on board with. I have no problem doing that. I have sent over like, oh, we have another person to fight. Good. Somewhere in the hundreds, and that's been like several weeks of oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Pokemon breeders. Oh, these things are so hard in the game. They're legit like tests if you're just casually playing through. Oh my god. Using assist is not good either. Oh wow. It is like the temperature here just dropped like 10 degrees. I can barely make out the neighbors across the street now. This is crazy, guys. But yeah, so the transferring, right? Once we get to black and white, it's real easy. You just put them into Pokemon Box, I think is what it's called. Pokemon something or other. Zigzagoon. You shouldn't have to worry about a Zigzagoon with Absol. And then from there, it's just transferring it online, pretty easy, and then going through the Elite Four and then putting them back in the box. Unfortunately, I don't have a way to stream from the 3DS. Otherwise, I would completely be doing that. Mightyena is going to be a tough choice for us to actually take out, so we're going to go to Swampert. I'll let his cool blueness shown through. That is just a hard storm out there. Wow. Sure, let's just earthquake this guy. And of course, that's one of the reasons why I'm super excited about Pokemon Home in general, though, is because while it does sound complicated, and it's not what I would consider the easiest process to go through. Yes, we'll change with Lotad. Absol should be fine. Even though we switched out and we lost our Swords Dance. Of course, we got Tailwhip, so we lost it anyways. Oh! I'm glad that Sunny Day is gone, because that was a Solar Beam possibly coming. Rain Dance, not good either. But Lotad can't learn Thunder, I don't think. Missed? Really? Really? Huh. But yeah, with Pokemon Home, all the transferring becomes like really easy to do, because every game that's completely compatible with it is just that. It's completely compatible. I love C-Dot's little dance. He's just so happy to be out. Nature Power turned into Swift. That was an attack that could have been so much better, because this is the first game where you had like over here you can see where, over there you can see like the brown mud patties and stuff. That's actually a terrain type. Tilo. Nah, we should be good. Taylor's not a swallow, so we don't have to worry about like super buff. Oh, Endeavor? Oh. And he's faster than us. This could hurt. Double team. Okay. We might miss. Alright. Cool. Endeavor's one of those scarier moves in Pokemon because it really hurts. Alright. But yeah, it's so much easier now that you can just simply just tell it to upload or move to Pokemon Home on your Switch. Or through Pokemon Go, you can do the same thing. Or so that's kind of cool. Just trying to talk to somebody and got into a fight. Hey, McAdoo! Doing good. Doing good. Thank you for asking. Got some games in. Alright, and we'll just keep going to the top tower and see what happens at the top tower. And I think it's just like we're back up to the top, and there's like nothing we can do up here. Huh. Except for fall back down. That is... Typing error, so you fixed it. It's all good. It's all good. I'm a child of the internet. I can read typos. It's a good thing, too, because my work is riddled with them. Alright, Sally. Thanks for popping in and lurking. Always appreciate it. There's like a little side room over here, if I remember right. Go into that side room and see what we get. With the ghost Pokemon being in a really good level for us, it's just really good to train Absol here at the moment. It's a good thing I can read typos. Alright, is there anything that we can fight here that's decent to fight? Like, I seem to remember, like, either, okay, more ghost Pokemon, a little bit lower levels, that's not too bad. Make it a little easier on us. I seem to remember, like, Spoinks maybe being here, too. Alright, level 28 Absol. Awesome. We're getting there. Turtle Club, we are approaching. Slowly but surely. We've already raised this thing like 2 or 3 levels today. Yeah, we started off at like 26, so we've got 2 levels. Oh my gosh. 2 levels in like half an hour. That is some really good grindage going on with this. And if we weren't using EXP share, it'd be even better. But Shroomish is a grass type. You know, I don't think we talked about that on this particular channel. I'm looking good. Oh yeah, I've lost some weight. I'm down to just a little over 150. It's one of those things that kind of comes and goes. You know, stress is one of those things that makes me like to stress eat in owning a house. Whoa. Okay. If I were the trainer for this Vulpix, I would take this opportunity to, like, quick attack and just put me out of its misery. So I'm going to use a potion here. Well, thank you. Thank you. Dirkrat says, like, shaving off the goatee helps also. Will-O-Wisp. Oh, that would have been rude. Because of the guaranteed damage. Oh my gosh. That would have put us all the way out. Yeah, shaving down the goatee, it helps, and you know, keeping the hair like in a good spot, it helps. Now we have to cure the burn. Bum, 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 bum. Alright, so where is... Actually, we might have some berries that can take care of this. Paralysis, poisoning, and burn. There we go. Use. How is Digrat? Digrat's doing pretty good. She's, of course, sleeping at this hour. But she's really enjoying the new house. She's probably going to be a little bit bummed that it's raining. On one hand, but on the other hand, she's growing a tomato plant, so anything that can kind of help that along, she's absolutely on board for. And she's been, you know, she does a lot of the yard work here around the house. She has far less allergy problems than I do, so she's better suited for it, and she enjoys being outside. So that's a plus. Don't know if I really liked the Vulpix being there. You might want to go inside to avoid more Vulpixies. But yeah, she's doing great. Thank you for asking. I'll pass that information along to her. She has been just working on getting the house put the way she wants. She is the master of the domain for everything in this house except for one room, which is my room, and that's great. And I have no problem with that at all. She's been wanting to be able to decorate in the ways that she's wanted to for a very long time. Once she gets it the way that she wants it, I'm hoping to get a lot of photos to put up on the Discord. It is just really coming down outside still. Wow. We've actually found a new game we've been playing in our private time. Elder Scrolls Online. Game is really fun. Definitely not a family-friendly title, unfortunately. But I'm hoping to get a streaming series on the other channel with it once everything settles down a little bit more. It's a really intricate kind of game. It's got some complexity to it. It's got a lot of fiddly bits, and we all know how much I love fiddly bits when it comes to games. And that's kind of what I like with it. And it's all about kind of pushing some stuff. Heading to bed, somebody streaming. Oh, well, thank you, McAdoo. Appreciate that. And we took out the absolutely there. I seem to remember somebody here was able to, like, see others play. It looks fun. It is very fun. It's got a lot of stuff you can do in it, too, which is the best part about it. It's not just, like, you know, for people that are trying to improve their gameplay and be just really good, there's some things that can be done. Whoa. Whoa, did I just hit flot? Random flot hit. What? Yes. Tell us these things. Okay. They came to return the orbs? I don't see any orbs being returned. I would like to have super awesome orbs. But yeah, it's definitely fun. There's a lot of mechanics that are intricate. And there's a lot of casual play elements. Like, you don't have to do top DPS or be an excellent tank or healer to play most of the story content. And there's a lot of customization built in, which is another thing that is just really good about it. And the housing system is actually pretty robust, considering. Well, this is about to be abysmal, right? We're not going to use that for this. Yeah, we can taunt, and we can swords dance, and we can quick attack. We're going to try to run, and we're going to try to fly right out of here in a second. A max ether would be great if we didn't want to use that for the Elite Four, possibly. Alright. Back to Lily Cove we go. Apologies about that. Alright. Boom, 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 boom. Do, do, do. And through here, awesome. And Swampert, use the surf. Speaking of Discord, make sure Mikey is telling our status out there too. Awesome. Mikey, created by Dogeth, also known as Matt the Dev. It's a bot that we actually have called CouchBot. Helps tell us when we're live and helps tell others when our other streamers in the community are live as well. This looks like an option to retreat to Manedric. And for those joining, we have just hit 8 a.m. Well, a little bit. Looks like my clock's running a little slow. I'm going to have to replace its batteries. Looking forward to the new Ark map next month. I've played some of the modded version in the past. You know, I've not played Ark in a considerable amount of time. I like it. I enjoy Ark. I really, really do. But it's one of those things that I haven't been able to hit a really happy medium as a player with it in quite some time. Especially with the house buying and the server running and you know, the streaming and all that. It's fun to play. I really enjoy playing it. But there's a point where it becomes very chore-like. Like, I'm not logging on to play anymore. I'm logging on to fill the troughs and make sure the dinos are alive and go out to do a few things and repair my gear and then, you know, log off to let my survivors sleep. And there's nothing wrong with that. If I had a lot more time to play like I used to, I would absolutely be able to join on and do that a bit more. And I realize that there are add-ons, right? There's mods and various things that you can do to alleviate a little bit of that and change that a lot. But my problem with some of that is I enjoy a lot of the challenge that Ark poses, and a lot of those quality of life add-ons inadvertently remove some of that challenge. And it's a really weird thin line to walk on. But I've not played like Lost Island. I've not played a lot of Alvaro. I haven't played Genesis 2. I have access to it. I just haven't played it. It's one of those things that looks great. Wasn't super fan of Genesis 1, and it looks like Genesis 2 didn't really fix a lot of my issues with it, but it does look good. I mean, it looks, you know, very appealing for the way they built everything out. But it's just, yeah. The Hunted, yes. I've seen The Hunted. Hunted looks pretty good. I don't think I would have a problem with playing The Hunted. It's just there's there's a few things with that too that, you know, I just I don't know. I don't know. But I get like that sometimes. You know, I'll get to a point where I play a game really, really, really heavy for a very long time. And with Ark, it was like 5 years. Just straight up play Ark, play Ark, play Ark, play Ark. And occasionally like a sprinkle of games in between stuff. And it's just I guess it's like a cooling off period for me at the moment. Like, I've been wanting to kind of go back to 7 Days to Die. I played that for a while, and it was fun. And then they made some changes on it, and one of their updates for their beta, well, I can't even call it a beta. It's technically an alpha. One of their alpha updates made a huge change, and unfortunately, it changed part of what made the game fun for me, sadly. I really liked where there were different types of zombies that had different mechanics for how you had to fight them. And that was cool and needed a break. Oh, yeah. And that was great, right? And then if you took out certain zombies and beat them, mechanics and all, you wound up getting a specific kind of loot from them. And that's a very tropey thing that happens in online games, right? You need a certain type of weapon, you kill a certain type of enemy, and you get a certain type of item. Elder Scrolls Online even does that. If you're looking for certain things, there's a pickpocketing mechanic where you go up to people and you're able to take their items while they're not looking. And certain kinds of characters have certain kind of items. Oh, Turtle Club, we're up to level 29. We're making some progress here. We're making some progress. We are hoping to hit about level 50, and that means that we have 21 levels to go. My gosh, it feels so far away, but we've already hit 3 levels. We're booking it pretty good. But yeah, they changed that in 7 Days to Die, which was unfortunate. I've looked at a couple of other games. One that Alienated One recommended was called Icarus. And that looks really good. Like, it's a different take on survival crafting. You get put on an island, it's actually not an island, it's a planet. You're terraforming a planet, and you have a set amount of gear that you get put on the planet with. And you've got goals that you have to achieve, and you've got like a time limit. Now, it's not a real world time limit, right? It's like you have 10 days to do this, and when you log off, your timer stops, which is a huge plus. But it's survival crafting. You've heard of that one as well. Yeah, it looks really good. It looks really good. And I think one of the cool things about it is that it's, pardon the phrase, because it's not exactly correct, but it's a roguelike. Meaning that, I can't put the bicycle out while I'm in the cave. Okay. Meaning that when you're done doing what you're doing, or when you die, you basically lose your stuff. So after you go on the planet, and after you build your base, and after you make all your accomplishments and all of that, and you go back to your ship that you departed onto the planet from, you lose your base. I mean, you're no longer going to be on that planet, right? So your base and all your stuff and all your gear, none of that really comes with you. Now, there are a few things that come with you. Your knowledge comes with you. So as you're on the planet and you learn how to make like an impressive pickaxe, you can actually sort of 3D print that on your ship before you deploy next time. And so that fascinates me. That, like, there's like it's 2 games in one. There's the game on the planet where you're doing the survival crafty stuff, and then there's the game on the ship where you're basically collecting things to make your game on the planet a lot easier. And so that looks like it might be cool. It looks like it might be good. I looked at Valheim. People have said, oh, Mag, you got to try Valheim. And, you know, Valheim looked really good right out of the gate, and there's a couple of issues that it's having. Their server code still isn't good. Sorry, Valheim devs. Peer-to-peer just really isn't the way to go. It just isn't, unfortunately. It's okay. It's okay. Everybody's got a starting point, right? I've made a couple of online apps that unfortunately were peer to peer, and there are some problems that you run into that. I knew that was going to happen. Eventually, I was going to hold the up arrow for too long. It's a shepherd. It's the other shepherd. Well, fortunately, the thunder and the lightning have stopped. It's still raining pretty heavy out there, though. So we'll have to see what happens. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Well, there's nothing that's going to be perfect, right? And everybody's trying to do something different. That's the big thing, right? And there's nothing wrong with being the other person, right? There's nothing wrong with being the other game. There's nothing wrong with being this game, but different. The problem is though is it. What's the how's the better way to go about saying it? People are trying to. There's the gaming industry is way too fast. I think that's the real good way to kind of hit the nail on the head a little bit. So like, I was watching a really cool documentary for me. I grew up again in the '80s, in the '90s, right? That was my formative years. And there was a role-playing game I played called World of Darkness. And there's a lot of different pieces to World of Darkness. But they had a rise and a fall, another rise, another fall. And the documentary went over one of the things that I was disappointed about for that brand. At one point, they had an actual MMO, a multiplayer, or massively multiplayer online role-playing game that was coming out. And it was one of those games that MMOs were a big thing. Everyone trying to get a piece of that pie, absolutely. Absolutely. But they made this announcement, right? And it was really early on, like 2000 and forever ago. I think that's just the best way to encapsulate it. Oh yeah, we want Giga Drain. Absolutely give us Giga Drain. We want Giga Drain there for now. So, 2000 forever ago, they make this announcement that World of Darkness Online is going to be a game. And the whole World of Darkness community is completely on board with this. The game looks great. They show all of this stuff involving the like the video and like it's not gameplay footage. Let's get that out of the way. But it is using like the EVE Online engine to kind of show you what the World of Darkness might look like. And then they announced that it's actually going to be from the there's two games that are for each kind of supernatural type of World of Darkness. One that's the older stuff and one that's the newer stuff. And they announced that they're going back to the older stuff. And that was actually loved more by the community than the newer stuff. And then you hear nothing about that game. It just kind of fades into obscurity. No one hears any kind of updates on it. They're like, yeah, we're doing this in the back. And then it sort of just dies off. And so any amount of hype that game had went away. And they were like, yeah, we're really super early in this, and we're not going to really have a game for a while. And it's like, okay, why announce the project? Another thing that comes to mind right now is Elder Scrolls 6. We don't even know what it's called other than it's ES6. So for those that are familiar with Elder Scrolls V, that was Skyrim. And then 4 was Oblivion, 3 was Morrowind, then we had Redguard, and all these other Elder Scrolls games. But Elder Scrolls V has been redone and remastered and rehashed and modded and unmodded and put on every single console out there. There's even a version that works with a smart speaker that is owned by Amazon, and if I were to say its name, mine would actually be on stream asking me what I wanted. But if you were to speak to that device, you could even play Skyrim on it. And there are things that those smart speakers work on that makes it kind of funny. You could basically play Skyrim on a refrigerator. You could play Skyrim on a... what was the other smart thing? Oh, ceiling fan. They have smart ceiling fans now. So you could play Skyrim on a ceiling fan. I mean, you could literally play Skyrim on so many different things. It's been out for so long and has been put on so many different devices that it's really just... it's just so done to death. It really is. Now, is Skyrim fun? Yes. Have I beaten Skyrim? No, actually. I go off doing side quests forever and get shiny squirreled out of Skyrim all the time. Did I beat Oblivion? No. Oblivion and I have a love-hate relationship. I love to hate Oblivion because it really, really ruined my gameplay experience due to the way I like to play. Morrowind? I never beat Morrowind. Love the games, though. Love the games, though. They announced Elder Scrolls 6 quite a few years ago. We still don't know where it is. We don't know where it's actually taking place at. And people are wanting to know. They're wanting to know things. They're wanting to know answers to questions that the actual development studio probably doesn't entirely know yet. Think about that. Todd Howard, the guy that's in charge of all this, said that if you're asking me questions that you're wanting answers to, and it's not 2005 yet, you're far too early. So, and I get it. Isn't Skyrim... Oh yeah, Skyrim is the game that Digrat has put oodles of hours into. Oodles of hours. Like, she likes to eliminate people in games, take their items, and then go do things with those items. That is one of the gameplay styles that she enjoys a lot. It's one of the reasons why she liked Ark, is because my mic was going off and on. That's weird. So she liked to be able to go to dinosaurs and take them out and either tame them or protect the little guy and take their items and stuff. But yeah, she really enjoyed it. Skyrim's been out since like 2012. Yeah, 2012. We're 10 years from Skyrim now. I mean, if Skyrim were a person, it would no longer be in grade school. Think about that. Like, that's a bit much. It's a bit much. Don't kill a featherlight. Yeah, don't kill a featherlight. Absolutely. Digrat would completely have problems with that. But and so Skyrim, is a fun game like that. Ark's a great game like that. People make announcements about their games coming up to build up hype, and they announce them a little too early. But if you're not doing anything, if you don't have a game coming out, people start asking what happened to a developer X and Y, right? Are we out of power again? Nope, we still got some power. Awesome. So that's one problem with gaming right now, is that people are announcing things way too early. The other thing is games are getting pushed out at a blistering pace to capitalize on the market. Now, I get it, right? I absolutely get it. Like, if I'm sitting with my friend and my friend does a thing and he gets enjoyment from the thing and he gets money from the thing, or food or shelter or lodging or if my friend actually benefits from a thing, there is a very high chance that I too am going to want to do that thing. So like PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, H1Z1, Arma 3, Fortnite, all these battle royale games that came out, Tarkir, all these games that really, if you were to put a person that never played any of them in a room and play all 6 of them, they would probably tell you that it was the exact same game. And it saturated the market. And now most of those games, they have this weird rock, paper, scissors, lizard, scissors, Spock, dynamite, dune buggy, napalm, kind of weird dichotomy thing going on. And I've been a very vocal person about how I dislike battle royale games. And personally, I still don't think I find any real enjoyment out of them, because I like skill-based games. I like games that actually there is a considerable amount of skill and a little bit of luck. And battle royale games completely eliminate the skill thing with as much luck as they throw at it. But you know, some people enjoy those games. And now here's the thing with those games, though, and this is where I find a lot of interest in the sociological portion of game design, right? So back to what I was saying, some people like to get rewards. Some people like to get, you know, they like to earn things. They like to be rewarded. They like to have that dopamine center of their brain just go ping and say, hey, you did the thing, you get the stuff. And for a battle royale game, that's the, you know, the winner chicken dinner, or that's the royale with cheese, or whatever the next game is going to call it, you know. And the thing with those games is they have a razor thin margin of difference between themselves and the next game. Yeah. Oh yeah, shoot 'em up games, yeah. But I like shoot 'em up games, but I like skill involved. Like, I used to play Unreal Tournament, and that was one of the games that I excelled at, especially. I liked the shot cannon and the lightning blaster. Those games were great. The railgun was great. Those kind of games, you know, you learn the map, you learn the positioning, you learn the mechanics, you knew where the weapons were going to be. When you spawned in, you all spawned in very similar areas, and so there was a lot of equalization that happened in that game. But in Battle Royale, that goes away. So there is some skill involved in Battle Royale. Don't get me wrong. When you find someone that you have to actually eliminate, you still have to aim at them. You still have to do whatever mechanic, be it building or parkour, or item switch buffering, or whatever it is that makes that game mechanically unique enough to not get them sued by the other developers. You have to be able to do that thing. But the problem that you run into with these particular kinds of games, these competitive games especially, is that eventually, to quote Macho Man Randy Savage, the cream rises to the top. And when the cream rises to the top, and, you know, when the wheat is separated from the chaff, all the chaff goes somewhere else to play the next game. And you'll find that you'll have all these players that don't really excel at the game, that have the income, they'll go buy the next game. And they'll play on the next game. You know, you mentioned Arc 2. I'm morbidly curious about how Arc 2 is going to be. I can tell you how part of Arc 2 is going to go. Those tribes that don't have a foothold in the Arc 1 communities are going to flood Arc 2. All of the tribes that just did not get there early enough, and all of the tribes that don't have the resources to excel at Arc 1 in the PvP world are going to run to Arc 2. All those tribes that are in the PvE world that are basically the alpha tribes that basically say, You can't have any of our obsidian because we're the Alpha tribe. Those people are going to wind up going to Arc 2. And there are a couple of those large tribes like that like being the big cheese. They like being the big dude. They like being the big kahuna. They like being the person in charge. And so what they're going to do is they're going to divert some of their resources to Arc 2 to try to get a similar foothold in there. And so you're going to have this really weird mix of all these people that really don't think they have a chance of being good at Arc 1 with the way that the world's working for them. And a good portion of these people that believe they're going to be equally amazing at Arc 2. And those are going to be who populate the Arc 2 servers to start with from a global community type perspective. Be that the official servers that we presume they'll launch, or be that the unofficial community that's going to have like these super mega clusters, like the World War Arc cluster and those kind of things. And that's okay. That's going to be a thing. That's going to happen. And what's going to happen is something's going to come out very similar to Arc 2. Not Arc 3, because let's be reasonable, right? But those people that wind up jumping from Arc 1 to Arc 2, they're going to go to this new thing. The ones that are in the bottom tier. The ones that are in the top tier, maybe not. It just depends on where they're at in the cycle. But this happens. This is like a merry-go-round. This happens all the time. Oh, double team. No double team for Absol. I pushed the wrong button. Yes. And so, with Battle Royale games, it's the exact same thing. You have somebody who is in, like, H1Z1. They didn't really do good at that. They blame the game. Right? Right? Don't blame the player, but blame the game. Your own skills don't equate to whether or not you do good or not. So it's got to be the game, or it's got to be the controller, or it's got to be the mouse or the keyboard or whatever. PvE, solo stuff, I enjoy PvE on a nice community server for reasons like that. But even then, playing on PvE, after a bit, you kind of want to have something new to do. Now, that is a longer play cycle, though. In PvE, or in solo kind of games, you kind of go at your own pace, and you don't have to really push to go through the stages of gameplay fast, right? And so people went from like H1Z1 to PUBG, from PUBG to Battle Royale, from Battle Royale to Tarkir, and it's this never-ending cycle of people trying to go find things. And so there's if you want to make a game today that is popular but not a long-sustaining game with a long-sustaining community, what you really need is three things. One, you need to take most of the challenge out. Make it random. Make it as legally random as you possibly can to avoid people concerned that you're basically setting up some type of competitive gambling. Put just enough skill requirements in the game that you could have someone who is really top-end skill and only moderately lucky and still come out on top of the people that are a little bit more luckier than they are, but nowhere near as skilled. So that's the first thing. The second thing you need to do is you need to make it very similar to whatever else is selling really good right now. Whatever it is. So, in the case of, I'm trying to think, Elden Ring. That's one that's been real popular right now. Loki is actually playing Elden Ring right now and is enjoying it. Not my kind of game, but that's perfectly fine. Everybody enjoys their games that they like to play. There is Not a whole lot of luck involved with that game. That is a high skill game. But if we were to take that game and make some actual luck mechanics in it, it would probably do as good as Elden Ring. Very similar game with that. So that's two out of the three things, though, right? I mentioned that there was a third thing. So those two, third thing, and the third thing is make it free. Make it freemium, because you got to make money. But if you do that, the crowd that you're going to get is super impressive. Because what you're going to wind up getting is you're going to get, first off, the group of people that want to play something that is currently trending. We're communal people, right? Human nature, we want to do things with other people. That's why I'm here on YouTube on Monday morning playing Pokemon. I could be looking for my Game Boy wherever I may have misplaced it and playing Pokemon on my Game Boy. I could actually have this GameCube set up and have my GameCube set up on a giant 70-something inch screen TV today. But that's kind of boring. So playing in front of people, playing with people, being able to talk to people, that's a big deal. And so you're going to get those people that want to do things with other people. And they're going to want to be part of that community. And so they may not be able to play Elden Ring, but they can play the Elden Ring-like game, and they can basically talk shop with those people. I do miss playing with me and Gig. Oh, we did. We had lots of fun. Gig's got that all that stuff he's doing for his own game that he's been making. That's some impressive stuff that he's doing between his Blender skills and his actual composing skills. I'm really impressed with what Gigi's been doing. But yeah, I do miss playing in a group type of environment with like close friends. People that I know well enough that I know that if I do something horribly accidentally that sets us back several weeks, I'm not going to be like, oh my gosh, Mag, you did such a horrible thing. With Elder Scrolls Online, Digrat and I do play together online. There is a AI system that lets us play in some of the group stuff without having other people involved, which kind of helps. It is a little bit harder to play that way, but the challenge is there, and the accomplishment is there, absolutely. But yeah, so from a community standpoint, though, if you get a game that's very similar to a trendy game, you're going to get that community involved with it as well. At the very least, there's going to be people curious enough to make a go at it, to make a comparison. I'm trying to remember the name of the Pokemon clone that came out a couple of years ago. It was supposed to be one of the best Pokemon clones ever. It had a lot of hype. It was an online game. It started with a T. Had something to do with crystals and stuff. It looked really, really promising. And then it just sort of died out. And yeah, he posted his music YouTube channel. Yeah, oh yeah. Oh, that's cool. But yeah, so you're gonna get the communal people there, right? When you add in the luck aspect, right? So if you got two games and you are what I would call myself a weekend warrior, right? I play hard, work hard, but I only get to play a little bit of time every week. I don't get to play oodles and oodles and oodles of hours, right? So when you're on the weekend warrior kick and you're sitting down and you are a person with disposable income, like myself and many other people in my actual demographic. Under the dust cloud. Awesome. You want a game that you can kind of sit down and you may not be the best at it. You may not be able to just knock it out of the park. But there's enough of that luck factor that if you're playing that game instead of the other game that's very similar but a higher skill value, you're going to come out with more stories about, oh my gosh, I was about to lose and then I didn't. And that's the second key factor, is there are people out there that don't play video games to challenge themselves. They really don't. I like some challenge to my video games. But and sometimes though it's just all about vegging out and doing the same thing over and over and over and over and over and over again. Like finding a Pokemon, hitting the A button, going over to Swords Dance, using Swords Dance, hitting the A button, going over to Bite, using Bite, and then repeating the process over and over again. Pokemon has a level of skill to it. There is a level of luck to it. You don't know what Pokemon you're going to find. You don't know if you're going to crit or not. You don't know if you're going to find a Pokemon. That all kind of goes into that. And it's a game that you can simply pick up, and then when you're done with it, hit save. We haven't saved our game in a while, so we're doing that anyways. And then save your game, and then pick it up later. That's a big deal. Same things for that community, though. You get these people that kind of want to talk shop with the guys that are playing the big game, and you get these people that are wanting to, after they've talked shop for quite a bit, they want to just sit down and play the game and not worried about having to do excessively amazing at it. And so that's on the Venn diagram, right? That's like two things that overlap pretty good. The next thing, and probably the more important thing, is the free model. If you can get people into your game for a price as close to free $0.00 to try, then you can keep people in your game a lot longer. And that's where we're getting to this weird place involving games, to where it's not so much about making good games, it's about making games that look like other games, that have some luck involved in them, so the more casual players, which there is far more casual players out there than there are more aggressively hardcore players. It's just the truth of it. It just really is the truth. You cannot get away from that fact. For every, complete wanting to be pro player out there, there's probably several hundred players that just want to pick up their controller and forget about the bad day at work they had. If you come out Turtle Club with a free game, those people can, instead of buying your game and having a decent day of it, they can not buy your game, still play your game, and remember how much fun they had on a Friday night playing your free game while eating some pizza that they ordered and drinking some soda that came along with the pizza that they used with the money that they saved by not spending it initially on your game. Now, that's the thing, right? Initially. A lot of these freemium games charge you for stuff. And if the game, this is where things get really kind of weird when you talk about freemium. There is a game that I'm playing. I'm always playing one on my phone. And speaking of phone, goodness, I hope I didn't misplace it with my Oh, there it is. There it is. It's right here in the page. So speaking of my phone, there is a game that I'm playing lately. And this is not an advertisement. I'm not a shill for the company at all. And that's saying a lot, because this particular game, they have a lot of shills that I've noticed. They have some ads. There is some advertisement going on for this game. And there is some, and I do mean a lot when I say some microtransactions involved in the game as well. I have spent $0.00 on it. I have spent all of the free dollars on it that I have. And those free dollars have gotten me, all my time that I've put into it, have gotten me some pretty cool stuff. It's called Last Fortress. It's a fortress building game where you do things. Oh, that's a Mightyena. We're just going to run away from it because it's not even worth it. But it's not exactly a fun game. I want to point that out. It's not exactly a fun game. It does have a lot of fiddly bits. It does have a lot of different gameplay loops. And it's free though. And that goes, and it's one of those you can pick up and put down. And there is a little bit of luck, a considerable amount of luck, combined with the skill involved. And it's got several thousand players on it, I'm certain, because they're always talking in the global chat, which I turn off all the time. But those kind of games, they make money by making sure the game is a good game and then giving you things to make the game a better game. Now, the gameplay loop is pretty fun in and of itself. You tap on things, you send people to do other things, and you go around in circles. You level up, you do more things that you needed to level up for. And to be honest, after a few months of playing this game, I will probably be super bored to tears. And I will probably be no longer... Oh, if he's going to use Protect, we're just going to leave. Sorry. We have a limited amount of Pokemon power. We're not going to spend it all on Protect. But the freemium model, there are some quality of life things that you can get in the game. And they're not required. That's the big thing. There are some games that are freemium that have all these purchases that you can make. And it's completely obvious that the game completely changes when you spend money. The biggest skill you can have is a credit card with a high limit, and I don't recommend playing those games. I dislike those games with a very big passion, and there's a balance that people have to make with it, but not everybody's made it yet. But on Last Fortress, there are some quality of life things that they're very blatant about, and I don't have to buy those. The luck factor of it lets me get things that I need, things that I want, as opposed to some other games that are definitely a little bit worse for wear. Boom, 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 boom. We're at level 32 right now. We're booking along pretty good. We got 20 minutes left, Turtle Club, on today's stream. And, we've covered a lot of conversations today. I gotta admit, it's been kind of good to just kind of talk. And I have to worry about things like plot and just kind of loop around and take out Pokemon and loop around and continue on and on. Yeah. I've got a couple of those games on my phone and my iPad as well. And, some games, I'll admit, I've spent money on those games. Elder Scrolls Online is a free-to-play game. There's no reason why you would have to spend money on the game. Now, I enjoy the game. I really do enjoy the game. I enjoy it less when I'm not spending money on it. And this is one of those things that it's a very thin line, and it can be considered a scummy line in some places. The gameplay's fun. The mechanics are great. The skills are awesome. I would say, for the most part, if you were just to play online with the base game that they have now, they've increased what the base game allows for. You don't have to spend any money. That said, there are, out of the 6 classes that you can play in the game, there are 2 of them that you have to pay to access. That's very common these days. Expansions increase your characters, expansions increase your areas you can go to, and they add things like new characters, new races, and all that kind of stuff. There is one race out of the 10 possible races that is a premium race. You would have to pay to get access to that. Those things aren't required to enjoy the game. Those things aren't required to progress in the game. There is no real unique story involving with the base game having access to that one race or those two classes. Now, those two classes do add to the game, absolutely, but they're not the real scummy part. The one thing that makes the game a little bit on the scummy side involving its in-game purchases is they have this really, and it's kind of weird to talk about because it's scummy, but it's not. Because it's a really amazing deal. There's an in-game currency. That's not surprising at all. Anyone who's played a freemium game knows that there's an in-game currency to all these games. You're probably familiar with the fact that you're going to have to spend money to get some sort of premium currency to use in the game. Elder Scrolls Online has what they call crown coins. And those currency pieces, for $14.99 USD, you get 1,500 crown coins. So $15, 1,500. Not a bad rate, depending upon what your brain says, right? But they have this thing called Elder Scrolls Online Plus. Now, Digrat and I used to play World of Warcraft. Digrat and I used to play EverQuest 2. I used to play EverQuest 1. I've played my fair share of many MMOs that have had a monthly service cost. Digrat and I both had Xbox Live Gold. We had PlayStation Online Plus for a while. Digrat and I have, we've paid monthly service fees for games before. $25 a month. That, to point out to some of our viewers, McAdoo is Canadian, so that was probably 25 Canadian. So probably close to $15, $16 USD. Yeah, he doesn't play anymore. But yeah, a monthly charge for that is not an unknown thing, right? People do that for online games all the time. So that said, ESO Plus is their monthly cost. Now, if it's free to play, you're kind of wanting to know what does the ESO Plus get you. So for the $14.99 per month, what you actually wind up getting is you get 1,650 crowns per month, just to start with. So on a subscription, you get 150 more crowns per month, which is not bad. That is not a horrible thing. It's not really a great thing, but it's not a horrible thing. The next things that it does do are kind of a little scummy. The first one is if you are subscribed, you get a boost to your experience points. For every 10 experience points you get 11. 10% bonus. That means, and just to kind of put this out there for some people, that if you played for an hour and you have ESO Plus, it's basically like as if you had played for 66 minutes. Which doesn't sound like a whole lot. People are like, well, that's not too bad. Right? Until you get to like 10 hours. If you played for 10 hours, it's like you played for 11 hours. And if you're a person that's not paying the game and you're trying to accomplish things, that extra free shoved hour of experience points could be a big deal. But that's not a huge thing. That's common for these video games, right? Video games like this, they'll give some experience points. And there are a few other things. One of the games that Digrat and I played, Wizard 101. Not a bad little game. It's not really a super exciting game, in my opinion. It's turn-based battles. It's an MMO. It's really weird with how they do shared content. Being that if me, Digrat, and 5 other people all show up at the same time to some place, how does that get resolved? So it's kind of weird, but on their subscription system, you would get access to more places in the game than if you weren't subscribed. And that happens also to be one of the things that ESO Plus does. You can buy access to all these areas individually, or if you have a subscription to their Plus service, you just get access to them while your subscription is active. And that's not exactly super scummy either, when that's kind of an industry standard. Now, there is one part that's kind of super scummy. And that is what's called the ESO Plus Craft Bag. So Elder Scrolls Online has a very robust crafting system. Oh. Yeah, gameplay changed. Yeah, that's what Digret and I stopped, is a lot of the game had changed to where it became more accessible to new players, and it became less challenging for established players because of that. Did I see that as a 1 or an 11? Oh, 11. Okay, so we can still roam around with our Absol for one more loop. And that's kind of why we stopped playing. I had a character that Digret actually laughingly called Howard Hughes, because I got to his like little house, and he never left his house, and he actually got to max level, never leaving his house. And he had the proper gear to go out and do things. It was silly. But so the scummy thing that you get with ESO Plus is they have a thing called a crafting bag. Now, a really robust crafting system. You have 7 different kinds of things that you can craft with ESO, including an 8th thing. So, I know that makes little sense. 7 and an 8th. So, there's cloth and leatherworking as one thing, blacksmithing as another thing, woodworking as another thing, cooking, it's called provisioning in the game, as another thing, jewel craft making for jewelry and all that, enchanting, and then you have alchemy, which is potion making. And so you can do all those, but each of those individual things, you can also make furniture for the house. And that sounds pretty awesome, and it is. It's really cool because there's all sorts of little bobs and doodads and things that play into making that stuff. Like if you want to make a low-level sword, it takes a different type of metal than a higher-level sword. And that takes a different kind of metal than a max-level sword. And there's several tiers. For the different kinds of metal, there's 10 different kinds of metal. And for the wood, there's 10 different kinds of wood. And for the cooking, there's like 10 different kinds of herbs and seasonings. You know, and the alchemy, there's hundreds and hundreds of different things in the alchemy world that you can use. Like different potion reagents. And then not only is there different potion reagents, but there's different kinds of fluids that alchemy uses for making potions and poisons. And so, if you were to go out and play in Elder Scrolls Online for maybe a couple of hours, what you would run into is about 30 minutes to an hour into that play session, your inventory would be full. And not only would it be full, but let's say you had like 3 things from woodworking and from all the other things, right? So 7 different crafting skills. You only have 3 different kinds of items from those crafting skills. You have 21 pieces of inventory just from crafting materials, and you may not have the right pieces to match together to make anything. Now there's a bank, and you can put your stuff in the bank, and that kind of saves you some space, and it saves you a little bit of time. And you can make multiple characters. A brand new account, I believe, can have up to 8 characters, so that's not too bad. And those characters, I think, start off with like 60 individual slots of inventory space. So about every hour, you could put your items in the bank, and then if the bank gets full, you can get on one of your other characters and then withdraw all the items and kind of juggle your stuff around. And, you know, that if you're enterprising, that's perfectly fine. You can do that. And if you want to spend the time on that, you absolutely can. It's perfectly fine. I know people. I've talked to people that do that. I've talked to people that don't have the Elder Scrolls Online Plus accounts, and they do really well for themselves by playing what I call Inventory Management Simulator online. They go in and they spend maybe 5 hours playing the game, and in those 5 hours, they spend maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours managing all the stuff that they keep acquiring. Now, if that sounds like your kind of game, absolutely go for it. You don't have to spend a dime. But I've got things to do. I'm about to go to bed in 5-10 minutes. I'm going to wake up at 6 p.m. at the latest. And then after waking up at 6 p.m., me and Digrat will play Elder Scrolls Online after breakfast for maybe 30 minutes to an hour. And if I had to spend 10 to 15 minutes of that time managing my inventory, I really wouldn't be getting a lot of enjoyment from the game. I really wouldn't. So I pay for the ESO Plus. Now, what does that give me is this crafting bag, and it's basically an infinite space bag of holding. I can put anything that's crafting related in it, and it has no maximum storage allotment. I spend very little time managing my inventory now. I just don't have to. Most of the stuff that you loot is something crafting related. There are a few junk items. I can sell them off really quick. There are a few, gear items. I can break them down into crafting materials, which go into the infinite storage space really quick as well. But that's the scummy part is it's one of those things that you don't have to have it. You don't. There's people that prove it all the time. I was one of those people for about 2 weeks. But once you actually go and get the Plus account, it changes the game. It is a completely different game when you're not stopping every 30 to 40 minutes telling your significant other, your friends, or random strangers on the internet, hold the moment, I gotta take care of the stuff that I've picked up off this dead body. And, that changes the world. It does. It's definitely a much better game when you have that, but like I said, it's kind of scummy. It's kind of scummy that you build a game that's going to come out as a free game. It's going to give people all this interesting exploration, all this interesting story, beautiful scenery, beautiful artwork. And I get it. They got to make money. They really got to make money. They sell a lot of cosmetic stuff. It's very similar to how Fortnite does it. There's limited time things that you can buy. There's loot boxes that you can buy that you have the odds of what's going to be in the loot boxes. There's ways that you can get the things out of the loot boxes without having to spend money on the loot boxes themselves. There's a lot of really cool stuff that's in it. But at the end of the day, I would dare say that a good portion of the money that Digright and I have spent on this game is simply making it to where the game is a much better enjoyment. I mean, could you imagine Pokemon if I had to pay money for the berry pouch? I mean, if the berries just took up a regular space in your pocket, and I think they did in Generation 2 if I remember right. Imagine if you basically had to pay for that berry pouch. And you could use that berry pouch as long as you paid Nintendo every month. Or Game Freak every month. But, that's just kind of scummy. It just is. We're going to be saving Turtle Club. And, kind of got to talking about some game design and some of the stuff there. It's always fascinating to see how people tackle those kind of problems in similar ways and in different ways. But I'm really hoping that game developers in the near future stop announcing their products so early. First and foremost, make some lower stuff. There's some fun games out there that don't really have a whole lot of development work behind them. Things like Among Us. Things like, what was the other one that just came out that is just super freemium? There's games out there. I'm tired, guys, so my brain's kind of doing the whole idling while talking thing. But there are games out there that are low-hanging fruit. They're not really huge production titles. They may be reusing assets, and do that to keep people going. And don't do the Elder Scrolls 5 thing. We don't need to see another version of Skyrim. We really don't. If you've got a game that's like Skyrim, use those assets and do something different. Like, maybe if they were to have made the Blades game on console and gave you a little bit of more free movement, that would have been great instead of Skyrim. I would have been fine with that. But do that instead. And then when you're probably a year and a half from release, when you are stopping to use the words alpha and friends and family beta with the community that's surrounding you, and early access. My goodness, early access is one of those things that has kind of really done some stuff. We could talk about that for hours on a different stream. But then kind of release your game. Announce it to people when they know that you're going to have a set date. And if you got to set it back a little, set it back a little. But don't rush it out the door. Don't rush it out the door. We don't need another Cyberpunk 2077. We have plenty of those. We have things like No Man's Sky. No reason for that as well, you know? But yeah. Well, Turtle Club, it has been a pleasure to be able to stream to you. Oh my gosh, I'm so happy. Got some gaming in. Sally, Colin, Shadow, thank you all for supporting the channel and popping in. McAdoo, thank you for keeping me company while the Lurk Squad kept us anchored. I'm going to have myself a good night. You all have yourself a good breakfast, a good lunch, a good dinner, a good week. It's Monday. And that's unfortunate, but the week itself isn't going to have to be unfortunate, right? It was raining outside, and I bet you if I went outside I'd see a rainbow, because that's what happens after the bad comes, right? But whatever you're about to do, Turtle Club, everything just taken stride, right? Stay safe, wash your hands, and have a good one. Thanks for watching.